Nadal, a possible future coach for Alcaraz? The recent retirement of the Spanish tennis legend raises questions about what he might pursue next. Wilander shared his thoughts on Nadal's potential as a coach and reflected on his farewell at the Davis Cup. One of the most significant events at the close of 2024 has undoubtedly been Rafa Nadal's retirement, a departure that resonates deeply. Just days ago, during the Davis Cup, Spain faced the Netherlands in the quarterfinals. That doubles loss marked the moment the Spaniard officially retired from professional tennis, a farewell that some have felt did not match the grandeur of Nadal's legendary career. Tony Nadal and Alex Corretja believe the farewell was not fitting and that it lacked an epic moment. However, others, like Mats Wilander, felt the Davis Cup ceremony was perfectly aligned with Rafa's personality. Nadal had often envisioned Roland Garros as the stage for his farewell, given it's the place of his greatest triumphs. I slightly disagree with those who think it wasn't the perfect farewell. For me, it was at the Davis Cup, which is an incredible gesture from Rafa. He could have done it at Roland Garros with less pressure and expectations, but he was very brave to tell Ferrer he was available and ready for such an important event. His first set was good, though the second was more challenging. He faced a tough opponent in Botic, who had been playing well and reached the final. Rafa's behavior and attitude were incredible, Wilander said to Eurosport. Ending his career at the Davis Cup in Malaga reflects Nadal's character. He has always taken pride in representing Spain in this competition. The understated ceremony mirrored his humility and simplicity, and his lack of interest in extravagance. It's natural that many felt something more elaborate was warranted. After all, one of the greatest players in history deserves the grandest send-off. But what matters most is that it was done the way Rafa wanted, not how others envisioned it. For me, it was the perfect farewell. Nothing has changed. Rafa is perhaps the most significant tennis player we've ever had, in both men's and women's tennis, because his legacy isn't about being the greatest of all time. Perhaps he's not the GOAT, but he is the most important for his attitude and fighting spirit. To people who play tennis, you have to say, play with Nadal's attitude. Whether they win or lose matters less, the Swedish former world #1 reflected on Nadal's legendary status. Future as a coach and Carlos Alcaraz. A few days after this monumental moment, speculation is rife about Nadal's future. Will he become a coach? Many would love to see the Spaniard take on this role, especially with a high-profile player like Carlos Alcaraz. The idea of a Nadal-Alcaraz duo, coach and pupil, is undoubtedly exciting. For now, Alcaraz enjoys great success with Juan Carlos Ferrero, making such a scenario seem distant. What does Wilander think? It's very possible that Nadal could return as a coach. I can even imagine him coaching Alcaraz. Although Carlos already has one of the best coaches, Juan Carlos Ferrero, he lacks the ability to sustain the same intensity throughout a match. Nadal was able to maintain that focus, so I can see the value he could bring. In any case, Nadal will remain involved in tennis, whether as a coach or a commentator, and that's incredibly valuable. He might even become the Davis Cup captain in the future. Carlos Alcaraz has the tools to defeat Jannik Sinner. Renowned coach Patrick Mouratoglou believes that when Carlos Alcaraz is at his best, he surpasses even Jannik Sinner at his peak. The problem, however, lies in Alcaraz's ability to consistently bring out that top level. The tennis world has witnessed the rise of a new reality in 2024, Jannik Sinner is the best player on the circuit. This year, he has won the Australian Open, the US Open, the ATP Finals, and a total of 9 tournaments, big and small, culminating in his rise to world #1. Sinner's dominance leaves Alcaraz as the only player with the potential to challenge him. Alcaraz's season has been far from his best, remarkable considering the 21-year-old won Roland Garros and Wimbledon, but inconsistency has plagued him. However, he has been more consistent in his matches against Sinner, beating him 3 times, which accounts for half of the Italian's losses this season. It's arguable that Alcaraz possesses the tools to challenge him, but what he lacks is consistency. His mental game remains a key area for growth. At his peak, Alcaraz is better than Sinner. Patrick Mouratoglou, one of the most talked about coaches in the tennis world, currently working with Naomi Osaka and previously Holger Rune, weighed in on the rivalry. According to Mouratoglou, the outcome of the battle between these two top players depends on Alcaraz's form. If we've seen Alcaraz beat Sinner more often, it's mainly because Alcaraz can create more on the court. Mouratoglou attributes this to the Spaniard's extra power, though he points out the mental challenge. Alcaraz has been making quite a few unforced errors in recent months, something Sinner avoids. That's why their matches have many ups and downs, with momentum swinging frequently between them. Even so, he emphasizes, when Alcaraz plays his best tennis, I believe he's better than Sinner. But that remains to be proven. as Sinner has demonstrated he can maintain peak form throughout an entire year, while his great rival has faltered since the summer. Carlos Alcaraz and the impact of Paris 2024. Throughout the year, Alcaraz experienced moments when the joy that usually defines his game seemed absent. The lowest point came in Cincinnati, where he smashed his racket, followed by an early exit at the US Open. Paul Annacone, Roger Federer's former coach, attributes this slump to the emotional toll of his performance at the Olympics, where he earned a silver medal. According to Annacone, this result, while significant, left Alcaraz emotionally affected and set the tone for his summer struggles. After a strong showing in Beijing, where he defeated Sinner, Alcaraz briefly regained form before falling in the quarterfinals in Shanghai. That was his sole bright spot after the Paris Olympics. The moment with the racket symbolized a critical turning point, and the Spaniard admitted feeling the strain following a loss to Novak Djokovic. Annacone suggests Alcaraz use this short break to reset, rediscover his motivation, and return to enjoying the game. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. At Tennis Zone, we are dedicated to bringing you the best information for the best audience, providing in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and comprehensive coverage of everything tennis. Join our community and be part of the excitement of the tournaments with us. At Tennis Zone, we strive to deliver updated, high-quality content about players, tournaments, strategies, and the most relevant events in the world of tennis.